analog and digital transmission. And we have seen that analog transmission is a means of transmitting analog signals without regard of their content. Either this content could be a analog data or maybe a digital data. Okay. So in the last lecture, we have also seen the relationship between the data and signals. So what are the relationship between the data and signals are there? That is could be learned from this table. We know that analog signal could be consist of analog data as well as the digital data. Only the mode of transmission is different. Similarly, digital signal also consists of analog data as well as the digital data. Up to this point we have already discussed. Now we have to move to the next point, that is the treatment of this analog and digital signals. So if you have to see the treatment of the signals, analog signals could be transmitted by means of analog transmission as well as the digital transmission. But digital signals can only be transmitted by means of digital transmission. So how the analog signal would be transmitted through the analog transmission? It is propagated through the amplifiers, because we know that analog signals would be faced the problem of attenuation, noise, distortion. So to overcome this impairment, we have to be required to use the amplifiers. Similarly, when the analog signal has been transmitted with means of digital transmission, also it would be again face the similar kind of the problems. Already we have converted these signals into a digital data by means of encoding, but still it is facing the problem of the distortion, noise or attenuation. But in the case of digital transmission, instead of amplifiers, we use the repeaters. So what the repeater does? When you using the repeater, every repeater, this digital data would be recovered from the inbound signal and generate the new analog outbound signal. Okay. So what is the difference between the amplifier and the repeaters? In the case of amplifiers, amplifier could also amplify the noise signal, but the repeater does not reproduce the noise. It would be extract the noise from the original signal and generate the original signal. Similarly, if you have to see the case of digital signals, in the case of digital signal, there is no mode of the analog transmission, but you can transmit the digital signal by means of digital transmission. So how the digital signal would be transmitted? By the stream of binary ones or zeros. And here also, to overcome the problem of the distortion or noise, we have to use the repeaters. So repeaters are very important device that is used in the digital transmission. Either you are transmitting an analog signal or a digital signal. Now we have to see what is the digital transmission actually. As before, we have learned the analog transmissions where we can transmit the analog data like voice signal and digital data like the signal coming out from the modem. Now we have to see what is the digital transmission. So if you have to see in the digital transmission, we have to transmit a binary content. A digital signal can be transmitted only a limited distance before the attenuation, noise and other impairments that would be endanger the integrity of the data. So for that purpose, we have to be required to use the repeaters. So repeaters would be receive the digital signals and recovers the patterns of 1 and 0s and retransmit a new signal. In this way, attenuation would be overcome. So this is the way that how the digital transmission occurs. In the digital communication, generally, digital transmission is preferred over the analog transmission. And there are a certain reason why the digital transmission has been preferred. So if you have to see the Advantages of digital transmission over the analog transmission. These are the some important advantages. First one, digital technology. In the digital transmission, we use the digital technology. So what is the digital technology basically? In the case of digital transmission, we have to use a VLSI, very large integration technology, and we know that in the VLSI, whatever the digital components or devices we use, their size would be very less. But this small size of the devices can't be achieved in the case of analog. So that we have a better technology here. Okay, so this is the one of the advantage. Second advantage in the case of digital transmission, data integrity. So in the digital transmission, we use the repeaters, and in the analog transmission, we use the amplifiers. The problem with the amplifiers is that along with the original baseband signal, analog transmission amplifiers would be also amplify the noises. But in the case of repeaters, it does not recover the noise. It would be extract the noise from the signal, and it only recovers the binary pattern. That's why it is a better mode of transmission as compared to the analog. Third advantage is capacity utilization. So in the case of the digital transmission, it would be better utilize the whole capacity of the channel. So what is the channel capacity? We have to learn in the next topic. Okay, so it would be a better option for the means of the capacity utilization. Fourth one, in the case of digital transmission, it would be provide better security and privacy of the data, because in the digital transmission we use the encryption methods or encryption techniques, so it would provide you better security as compared to analog transmission. Fifth one is integration. So by using the digital transmission, you can easily integrate the signals. Okay, so by means of the economies of the scales and convenience, integrating the voice and data, it could be better achieved by the digital transmission. So these are some advantages of the digital transmission over the analog transmission. That's why we prefer this. Okay. Now, apart from that, also there are some other advantages are there, but these are the major advantages. Now we have to learn about the transmission modes. So what are the transmission modes basically we use in the case of data communication? So I think all of you are familiar with this. So these are the three transmission modes are there: simplex, half duplex, and full duplex. So simplex transmission means what? Can anyone tell me?
One-way communication.
One-way communication, good. So in the simplex mode, communication is unidirectional as one-way street. Only one of the two devices on the link can transmit and other can only receive. Okay. So if you have to see example of this simplex communication, so the very simple and good example, that keyboard and monitor. So keyboard would be give the input to the computer, and monitor would be only display. So monitor can't be give the input, okay, and keyboard can't be generate the output. So this is the one-way communication. This is a very good example of the simplex communication. Only one device can be transmit and another only should be receive. So you can see in the case of simplex mode, the entire capacity of the channel is used to send the data in one direction. This is the one of the pictorial view of the simplex transmission. You have to see a sender. There is a two element. One is sender, another is receiver. Sender would only transmit and receiver would only receive. But it is not possible to do the vice versa. This is the simplex mode of communication. Now we have to go for the next one, that is half duplex. So what is a half duplex? Anyone? It is already you have learned this. Maybe I just taking a, you can say, revision, because it is a part of the syllabus. Half duplex is what? In the half duplex mode, each station can both transmit and receive, but not at the same time. When one device is sending, the other can only receive, or vice versa. So in this case, only one device can transmit at a time, but both can transmit and receive. Examples are walkie-talkie or citizen band radios are there. Okay, generally the police force and others are used like walkie-talkie, and security personnel use this. So at a time, only one can speak and other would be listen. And when the second one person would be speak, the first person would be listen. So in the half duplex, the entire capacity of channel is taken over by whichever of the two devices transmitting at that time. Okay, this channel would be distributed between both of them. So here, this is the pictorial view of the half duplex. You can see both sender and receiver. If there is no particularly a sender or receiver, both can be transmit or both would be received, but at a time only one. So in the first picture, a sender A would be transmitting and B is receiving. Okay, but in the picture B is sending and A is receiving. So this is the description of the half duplex transmission. Now we have to come to the next one, that is a full duplex. So what is the full duplex? In the full duplex mode, both stations can transmit and receive simultaneously, like our mobile phones. That is an example of the full duplex. So in the full duplex mode, signals going in one direction share the capacity of the link with the signal going in the other direction. Again, the capacity of the channel would be shared between the two devices. This sharing can occur in two ways. Either the link must contain two physical separate transmission paths, one for sending, another for receiving, or maybe the capacity of the channel is divided between the signal traveling in both directions. Both the way you can perform the full duplex transmission. So this is the example, that is a telephone network. When the two people are communicating by the telephone line, both can talk and listen at the same moment of the time. And this is a very simple diagram for this. Here the two devices A and B, both are sender, both are receiver at the same time. So it is a very simple transmission modes that we have learned, that simplex, half duplex and full duplex. Now move to the next topic, transmission impairments and channel capacity. Okay, so this is also very important part. So what are the transmission impairments we face during the transmission of the digital data or maybe the analog data? We have to see. With any communication system, the signal that is received may differ from the signal that is transmitted due to the various transmission impairments. Generally, we know that this, whatever the signal you transmit at the transmitter end, that is not received in the same form at the receiver end. So what is the main reason? The main reason is transmission impairments. So what are the different types of impairments could be possible? We have to see. For analog signals, these impairments can degrade the signal quality, and for the digital signals, bit errors may be introduced. So what kind of bit errors? Suppose anyone has sended the pattern of the ones, but you would be receiving a pattern of zeros, or vice versa. So this is a mismatching of the bits in the receiving end. So this type of the problems would be occur because of this impairments. So we have to be see what are the main impairment causes are there. So there are the three main impairment causes. First is attenuation, second is distortion, and third one is the noise. Now we have to be learn one by one what is attenuation. So first we have to move to the attenuation. So what is attenuation is actually? Very minor difference between the attenuation, noise, and distortions are there. You have to be see. Attenuation means loss of energy. When a signal, either it is a simple or a composite signal, travels through the medium, it loses some of its energy in overcoming the resistance of the medium. Either medium you are using, either it is a wired medium, either it is a wireless medium. There is some resistance offered by the transmitting path. And to overcome these resistances, the energy of the signal would be lost. Okay, so this is called attenuation. So some of the electrical energy in the signal is converted to the heat. So it would be lost in the form of heat. To compensate for this loss, we generally use the amplifiers to amplify the signal. So the definition would be more clear from the next slide. This is the picture how the attenuation would be occurs. Okay. Now you have to be see in the diagram. It is very much clear. This is the original signal. This is the original signal. This is the point 1. Okay. This is the point 1. This is the transmitting point. From this analog signal has been transmitted. Okay. And through the transmission medium, when it would be reached to the point number 2, because of the resistance offered by this transmission medium, the power of the signal would be lost, some amount of power, not total, and because of that the amplitude of the signal would be decreases. That is called the attenuated signal. Now at the receiving end, receiver is expecting to receive a original signal or maybe very much similar to the original signal. So for that purpose, we have to be required to use the amplifier. There is a main role of amplifier would become in the communication system. The amplifier would be increase the or raise the power of this signal, and because of this the amplitude of the signal would be increases. So at the point 3 there is a receiver is there where we have to be send this signal from point 1 to point 3. So because of this amplifier, what happens, we have to be overcome the attenuation, and the signal similar to the original signal would be received with the same level of the power at the receiving end. So in this way we have to be overcome the attenuation. Now it is very much clear, the idea is very much clear. In the attenuation, it is mainly related to the loss of energy of the signals in the transmission path. Now how the attenuation would be measured mathematically? So mathematically attenuation would be measured by means of the measurement scale that is called the decibel. So what is a decibel? In the EDC also we have little bit gone through this topic. Decibel is what? The decibel or dB measures the relative strength of the two signals or one signal at the two different points. So decibel is used to measurement of relative strength of two different signals, or maybe one signal at two different points. Like here, the one signal that this is the original, this is at two different points, point number 1 and point number 2. So it is just to measure the relative strength of this single signal on the two different points. Note that decibel is negative if signal is attenuated, and it is positive if signal is amplified. This is very important. If signal is attenuated, so here the decibel would be negative at the point 2, and at the point 3 it would be a positive value because the signal is amplified. So what is the formula, mathematical formula for this decibel measurement? dB is equal to 10 log base 10 P2 upon P1. P2 is the power at the receiving end and P1 is the power at the transmitting end. Okay, and this is the formula is valid for the power signal. When you deal with the voltage signals, so the formula would be little bit changed. Can anyone tell me what is the formula for the voltage signal? Anyone? How you would be define the dB formula for the case of voltage signals? Same log base 10 is there in the formula. Can anyone define? Instead of P2, there is a V2 is there. Instead of P1, there is a V1 is there. What would be the multiplying factor is here? Please speak. Anyone? Please unmute yourself and speak. What will be the factor, multiplying factor is there in the case of voltage signal? It would be, instead of 10, it would be a 20. Because we know that power is related to the voltage with the means of a square. P is equal to V square upon R, or V square upon maximum power of 4R, depend upon the circuit, but it would be the proportional to the V square. So that's why there is a multiplying factor would be changed, 20. Now one more thing, I have said that decimal is negative if the signal is attenuated. So suppose your P2 is 1/2 of the P1. P2 is 1/2 of the P1, means receiving power is reduced by the 50% as compared to the transmitting power. So at that time, what is the value of dB is here? Please solve it. 10 log base 10 P1 upon 2 into P1, means 10 log 10 log base 10 2, sorry, 1 upon 2. So what is the value is there? 10 log base 10.5. So it would become as, anyone has got the solution? See, when you would be solve some numerical, then the idea would be more clear as compared to going through the theoretical study. So I am saying that receiving power is 1/2 of the transmitting power. Okay, Monali has given the answer and it is the correct answer, -3 dB. So here what? When you would be do this 10 log 0.5, it is equal to -3 dB. Very good. Now I am reversing this. Suppose receiving power is double of the transmitting power, means P2 is twice of P1. So what would be the value of dB is here? What would be the value of the dB is here? Solve it. It is very simple mathematics. 10 log 2. टेन लॉग 2 क्या होगा बोलो? Again some answer is coming. Pansari Kaveri Pansare plus 3 dB, correct answer. So when you would be reverse this, means receiving power is twice of the transmitting power, the minus sign would be changed to the plus sign, only this difference would be there. This is the means when you attenuate by the same factor, the negative value of decibel would be received. When you amplify with the same factor, positive value would be received. So this is the relationship. Okay. Now we have to be moved to the next point, distortion. So what is a distortion is actually? Attenuation is related to the power. Now the distortion is, and what it would be happen? Distortion means that signal changes its form or shape. When the signal would be change its form or shape, this is called as the distortion. Okay. So what are the different types of distortions are there? Distortion can occur in composite signal made of the different frequencies. Each signal component has its own propagation speed because it has the different frequency. So every signal component has its own propagation speed through the medium and therefore its own delay in arriving at the final destination. Because its frequency is different, its propagation speed is different, so it would be arrive at a different times. Even it is transmitted with the same time from the transmitter, it would be received at the receiving end at a different time instance. So this is called a delay distortion. The differences in the delay may create a difference in the phase if delay is not exactly same as the period of the duration. You have to be see it through the diagram. So this is the diagram for describing the distortion. This is the composite signal. You can see that is composition of the three different frequencies. This is the frequency of F. This is the 3F, so twice F, and this is 3F is there. So there are the three different frequencies there for the same time period again. You can see. So in this a composite signal, there is a three frequency components, and their propagation speeds are also different. So when it will be passed through the channel and received at the receiver end, these three signals, there would be some delay in their receiving, and because of that, their phase would be changed, and you would be receive this kind of signal at the receiving end. That is not in the same shape as we have transmitted, and this deformation in the shape of the signal is called the distortion, and it is here because of delay distortion. Actually, there is other different kinds of distortions are there: amplitude distortion, frequency distortion, phase distortion. But here we are discussing about the delay distortion. Okay. In other words, signal components at the receiver have the phase different from what they have been at the sender end, and because of that, the shape of the composite signal are not same. Okay. Now we have to be see next topic, that is noise. So what is the noise is? Attenuation is related to the power, distortion is related to the shape of the signal. Now the third point is the noise. So for any data transmission event, the unwanted signal would be inserted somewhere between the transmission and the reception. It is because of the noise. Now, noise may be divided into the four categories. It is the most important impairment in comparison to the other. That's why we have categorized also it in the four different categories. First one is thermal noise, second one is intermodulation noise, third one is crosstalk, and fourth one is impulse noise. Now we have to see one by one. Thermal noise is what? Thermal noise is due to the thermal agitations of electrons. It is present in all electronic devices and transmission media and is a function of the temperature. So temperature is a factor that would be hamper all device operations. Any device that is an electronic device, it would be hampered due to the temperature effect. So this is, here it is considered as a thermal noise. Okay. Now Thermal noise is uniformly distributed across the bandwidth typically used in the communication systems. Hence, it is referred also as a white noise. Okay, I have taken the attendance also, that is 51 students. If anyone has left, you can also send your screenshot. Now, come to our topic, thermal noise. The amount of thermal noise to be found in the bandwidth of 1 Hz in any device or the conductor is defined by the formula of N naught is equal to KT. It is the formula for the bandwidth of 1 Hz. Okay. So thermal noise is defined by N naught is equal to KT, where the K is what? Small k. It is called the Boltzmann constant, and its value is 1.38 into 10 to the power minus 23 joules per Kelvin. Second one is okay. Kaveri, who has raised the hand? What is the problem? Okay. And the temperature is T, that is always in the Kelvin. Okay. Now we have to see this same formula for the bandwidth of B. So the formula would be little bit modified for the bandwidth of B hertz. N is equal to KT into B. So B would be multiplied. That formula is N naught is for the 1 hertz bandwidth. Now it is a whole spectrum of the bandwidth is there. KT B. Second one is the intermodulation noise. So what is intermodulation noise? When the signals at the different frequencies share the same transmission media, that would be result in the intermodulation. So there is a multiple signals having the different frequencies would be sharing by the same media or the same path. So it would be problem of the intermodulation noise because of the overlapping of the signals. So the effect of the intermodulation noise is to produce the signals at the frequency that is the sum or difference of the two original frequencies or multiple of those frequencies. So what happens when the multiple signals having the different frequency would be transmitted through the same media? So in this case, at the receiving end, frequency would be either summation of frequency would be received or maybe a difference of the frequency would be received. Okay. So in this case, you have to see the example. Mixing of the signal at the frequency, suppose these are the frequency f1 and f2, it would be produce a frequency, resultant frequency, that is f1 plus f2. So this kind of the frequency would be received at the receiver end. So this is nothing but an intermodulation. The receiving person would be not understood what actually the frequency of the original signal. It would be not able to distinguish. And this is the main issue of the intermodulation noise. And why the intermodulation noise occurs? Because of the non-linearity of the transmitter and receiver or intermediate transmission media. So whatever the transmitter we use, that is electronic device, or whatever receiver we use, that is also the electronic device, and most of the electronic device is made up from the MOSFET or transistors, and these MOSFETs are non-linear devices. So it would be also produce a non-linear effect on the transmission or transmitted signal. So this is the main reason why the intermodulation noise would be produced. Third kind of the problem is noise is crosstalk. So what is the problem? This is a common problem we use. All the mobile users know that what is the problem of the crosstalk user. So we little bit see the issue. Crosstalk has been expressed by anyone who, while using the telephone or mobile, has been able to hear the another conversation. It is an unwanted coupling between the signal path. Generally, it is problem happen on the older telephones, landline telephones. We have dialed a number to someone and it would be received by the someone, or in between of the communication, some other voices are also listened by the person. So this is because of the problem of the crosstalk. It is also one kind of noise, and it could be occur by the electrical coupling between the nearby twisted pairs or rarely coaxial cables lines carrying the multiple signals. Okay, so this is the main reason why the crosstalk happens.